Hey, what's up guys, Pratima here, and today with me is the new Samsung Galaxy A73 5G. That means, except for the entry-level Galaxy A13, we have covered every new Galaxy A phone of 2022 so far. I'll put the link to all those videos in the description to make sure you check them out if you haven't already. Anyways, I have been using the Galaxy A73 for just a couple of hours now, and in this video, let me share with you my brief experience so far with the most premium Galaxy A phone of the year. So, how much does the most premium Galaxy A phone of 2022 cost, you might be wondering? Well, it sure does not come cheap. Here in Nepal, the phone's A256GB variant goes for a whopping 73,000 rupees, and in India, the A73 starts at 42,000 Indian rupees for the base 128GB variant. That's roughly 20% higher than last year's Galaxy A72, but Samsung is throwing in a couple of interesting offers as a part of the pre-order deal. Valid until April 8, those who reserve the Galaxy A73 will get Buds Live worth rupees 7,000 Indian rupees for just 500 rupees, and then there is 3,000 bank discount as a special introductory offer as well. But just like other cheaper A-series phones, you still won't find a charger inside the box this time. And that makes for the perfect segue to the sponsor of this video, AceFast. Its 65-watt power delivery charger is perfect to charge all your power delivery compatible devices like MacBooks, iPhones, iPads, and Samsung phones, including the Galaxy A73. There are two USB-C and USB-A ports on board with a maximum 65-watt output, which means that it makes for a great travel companion since you can charge multiple devices with just this one power brick. And it ships with a braided USB-C to USB-C cable for superior durability compared to the regular plastic wrap cables. Learn more about it at the link given in the description below. Now, disregarding the lack of a charger inside the box, if you look at what's powering the Galaxy A73, it's quite underwhelming for the price. For me, the Snapdragon 778G is simply too underpowerful for a phone in this class. I mean, you can literally get a 778G powered device that costs less than half as much. So I think Samsung should have at the very least gone with Dimensity 1200 or Snapdragon 870 chip here, or maybe even the new Dimensity 8100. But let me emphasize that if you don't play resource-heavy games or juggle through a bunch of apps at a time, the Galaxy A73 is not going to disappoint performance-wise. I managed to play a couple of sessions of PUBG and Genshin Impact here, and the phone handled both of them surprisingly well, especially in terms of thermals. For instance, at HDR graphics and ultra frame rates, I was getting a steady 40 FPS on PUBG with zero frame drops or stutters. After around 15 minutes into the game, the CPU temperature rose to 38 degrees Celsius, although the phone was incredibly comfortable to hold. Genshin Impact did bring the Galaxy A73 to its knees at the highest settings, but that's to be expected. The phone got warm pretty quickly and it delivered roughly 30 FPS on average with frequent frame drops every now and then. But considering how hot Kathmandu is in these summer days, the temperature readings I am seeing here are quite remarkable. Okay, besides gaming, regular everyday performance should be no trouble here either. On the software front, it runs on Android 12 based One UI 4.1 right out of the box, and like Samsung's flagship phones, they also guarantee 4 generations of OS and 5 years of security updates on the Galaxy A73. Therefore, the phone should age better over the years, at least in theory, but I am not sure just how well the Snapdragon 778G will hold up in 2026. As apps and Android itself gets more resource hungry with time, I think the Snapdragon 778G simply might not be able to keep up. Okay, keeping that aside, the Galaxy A73 is one good-looking phone. It's pretty visually similar to the Galaxy A72 or the newer entries in this lineup, but that's not a bad thing at all. Samsung has even borrowed elements from the premium Galaxy S22 and S22 Plus here with its squared-off form factor and glossy frames. But keep in mind that both the back panel and the frames here are still plastic made, and it does feel quite light too, although the phone does not feel cheap or anything. On the other hand, it is quite a tall phone, so handling the Galaxy A73 single-handed is a bit of a struggle for someone like me with small hands. Anyway, it comes in a bunch of fun color options, and I am absolutely loving this mint finish. Besides looking cool, Samsung has also ensured better durability here since the Galaxy A73 is IP67 rated against dust and water damage. Another thing that Samsung does really well is the display. Here, the Galaxy A73 6.7 inches Super AMOLED Plus screen is a total visual treat. Everything from colors, contrast to brightness levels are top-notch here. It also supports HDR playback on streaming platforms like Netflix, so the media consumption experience on the Galaxy A73 should be very good. Complementing it is a set of stereo speakers that deliver balanced audio with nice mids and highs as well. This display now refreshes at a smoother 120Hz too, but unfortunately it does not implement adaptive refresh rate tech yet. Because of this, the phone blasts 120Hz at all times, which should take a toll on the battery life. I obviously haven't been able to test its battery endurance just yet, but the 5000 mAh cell here should be good for at least a day's worth of usage. I will be sure to test it out for the full review, so make sure you are subscribed to our channel. This OLED screen also hosts an in-display fingerprint sensor underneath, which is fairly fast enough for Samsung standard. However, because it's located so low, I had to reposition my hand every time I unlock the phone. So it will take some getting used to. Alright, one of the main talking points and part of the whole awesome DNA of the Galaxy A73 is its cameras. This is the first time Samsung has used a 108 megapixel sensor in its non-flagship phones, even though it is common news on mid-range phones from Xiaomi and Realme. And based on a couple of photos I've managed to click so far, I found that Samsung has gone with a relatively toned down color processing here. As a result, images from the primary camera look close to natural with plenty of details and nice dynamic range. The ultra-wide shots are subject to minor color shift, but that's alright. Then again, my biggest gripe with its camera system has to be the fact that Samsung has skipped on a telephoto lens this time. If you remember, the Galaxy A72 featured an 8 megapixel 3x telephoto camera. Instead, there's now a 5 megapixel depth sensor and the usual 5 megapixel micro lens. Anyway, we will be testing its camera thoroughly to see if this 108 megapixel camera is any better than the 64 megapixel shooter we get on the cheaper Galaxy A53 and A52s. And it would be interesting to see if it beats other camera phones at this price segment, such as the OnePlus 9RT and the iQOO 9. But still, from what I can tell from my first impression is, if the Galaxy A73 only had a more competitive processor, as I mentioned earlier, it could have been an ideal premium mid-range smartphone. So guys, that's about it for today's video. Let me know if you guys have any queries about the Galaxy A73 down in the comments below, and I will cover everything in my full review. Lastly, thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel.